welcome to AWS OnAir.
I told you, I'm excited about this.
We want to help you see the things that are new and launching.
We are throwing you into the deep end.
Day 10. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey folks, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are here live on the floor of the Expo Center at the AWS New York Summit. My name is Adrian San Miguel. I am a principal partner enterprise architect here at AWS, joined by my very, very good friend from just across the pond, Alistair.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Alistair Bate. I'm a cloud optimization solution architect, and I'm so excited to be here in New York. Then next to me, we have the amazing Jasmine. Welcome.
Oh, the amazing Jasmine. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Kyles. I'm a manager of product management here at AWS, working all things partner and marketplace, and I'm happy to be joined here with Fiona.
With me. Hi, everyone. My name is Fiona McCann. I am a solutions architect in the public sector of AWS. I work with nonprofits, and I have the pleasure of working with AM.
Hi, I'm AM.
That's it, actually.
That's all you
And
need.
you know what? That's actually cut the cameras now.
All you need. You shouldn't have given me that much airtime. I'm a developer advocate for AWS Game Day, which we will be seeing later today.
Really?
So, yeah.
It's a little teaser into what's going on today. What else is going to be happening today? What are you all doing here? Thanks for joining in and streaming live. We're on the expo floor at New York Summit. Jasmine, what can they expect today?
Oh my gosh, we have a jam-packed day with net new launches that are coming here to AWS. So we're launching new products today. We have a keynote coming up here very soon. But first, we're going to have some sessions before that. What sessions are you pumped about today?
Well, apart from the game day, of course, you know, that's
Most
because
importantly.
somebody else is here.
We paid you to say that.
Yes, I did get some bribes, but we have so many other things. I think some new launches as well. We'll definitely be talking about well-architected, a whole bunch of other things. Adrian, what are you most excited for today?
Well, aside from getting to spend some time with my favoriteest people in one of the coolest cities on the planet, I'm really stoked about talking about what a lot of our customers are going to be doing and have been doing with our services, as well as what our partner community has been doing. Now, my day job, aside from doing this stuff, I work with a ton of technology partners, especially those that are getting started, classified as either a startup or a nascent partner. Seeing what they're doing and using the technology to go out and solve some really cool problems, that's what I'm most interested in, most excited for.
And most importantly, we're going to get to see some amazing demos. So whether it's the latest in Agentic AI or, Amazon Q or whatever else, we'll be seeing it live from the floor.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're mentioning a couple different services. We also have a couple different certifications at AWS. And Alistair, I'm seeing something on the back of your seat. What's going on? I think you got to put this jacket on.
What are you talking about? I didn't bring any. I wasn't forced to bring anything along.
What is this? And what can we tell our viewers about this jacket that you're
You know
holding?
what? I think they should stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, I think that's a later point. Maybe we'll bring it up later throughout the day. But I think the other thing we'll be getting to see today is actually a bit more of the expo floor, because I believe somebody is going to be taking us out and around today's expo to bring us live. And who that could be?
Oh, it's me. I'm going to be going live around the expo floor. You're going to get a look at startups, our generative AI pavilion, and so much more. So make sure you're watching. I'm taking you behind the scenes of what's happening here and telling you a little bit about what we have going on for AWS customers on the floor. But there's different ways that you can participate at home in some of these activations.
You know what I'm most excited about?
What's that?
What?
Talking to all of them. Okay?
So the chat.
They're out there. I know you are.
Someone's watching.
I see you out there.
So
I know it.
Tell us in the chat where you're joining from this morning,
please.
and tell us your favorite superhero.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah.
Favorite superhero.
bonus points, and maybe it's just because I have a tragic backstory. And it all started back in Gimmelstump. Sorry, had to sneak that in there.
So you're a super villain then.
I am chilling like a villain today, but I particularly have an interest in everyone's foil. Who is that supervillain that you identify with, or at least can understand? That gets some points in the chat too.
Okay. So not
Supervillain.
just the superheroes, the supervillains as well as we go,
Interesting.
and everybody in between. Hey, I'm sure there's a lot of them that have come through New York City, but I don't know if we'll see like King Kong out there on the Empire State Building, but you never know.
New York.
Oh.
Is that where we are?
All right. I
You're
appreciate
here
that.
with us now. You're here with us in New York. You're on the expo floor. You're going to tour around. We're hoping you're going to ask us lots of questions. And are you excited for the day?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I am.
his
There we go.
excitement.
Love it.
All right, well, stay tuned because we will be back with more. We're going to have SageMaker, Quicksight, and more generative AI services. So stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome back. You know where you are. You're at the New York Summit for AWS. You're live on the expo floor with us, and we're so happy to have you here. My name is Fiona McCann. I am a solutions architect at AWS. I work in the public sector with nonprofits, and I also work with Adrian. Adrian, how are you feeling this morning? You ready to go?
I'm feeling great. I am absolutely roaring and ready to go.
Absolutely roaring and ready to go. And so today we're joined with our very first guest of the day. Utkarsh, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Utkarsh. I'm a product manager at AWS, and I work on Amazon SageMaker, primarily focused on data and AI governance.
So data and AI governance, the more and more we begin to start seeing things move out of the proof of concept idea and go into production or near prod or experiment, especially I would assume a ton in public sector,
Right.
And definitely in my patch with partners, it is getting more and more important. If it wasn't already, cards on the table have to be super important, but now it's even more pressing to make sure that we have this done right.
Absolutely.
By default. So wouldn't you mind giving us that quick elevator pitch on why it's so important?
Yes, absolutely. Like data today, is everywhere, right? And absolutely for anything related to analytics or AI, ML, and generative AI, data is the key, right? You need to be able to find the right data, and the data has to be high quality and governed. And that is what SageMaker allows you to do. It solves the end-to-end analytics and data and AI/ML journey by making sure that you're able to discover the right data, you're able to access it, use it in the tool of your choice, and make sure that all of that happens with governance.
Absolutely. So is this something that's new to SageMaker? You know, what were customers doing before this? Because this kind of governance was built into SageMaker.
Right. So I'm here to talk specifically about a new integration that we have built between SageMaker and Amazon Quicksight, which which simplifies the end-to-end data and analytics journey right from the discovery, right? Because one thing that we hear from our customers a lot is the end-to-end analytics journey today is very fragmented. Like you start by finding the data, then you have to figure out how to get access to that data. Then you maybe switch to a SQL editor to query and explore that data. Then you may have to go to a notebook to process that data, build your machine learning models. And then once you're ready to visualize your data, you're ready to build your dashboards, then you have to switch to a BI tool. And in all of this journey, you're switching between tools, and you're figuring out how to set up connections across these tools, which is time-taking, and it delays insights and hampers the business decision making.
The one thing that comes to mind, and I keep hearing this, context.
Ooh, okay.
And this is something that my wife belabors to my kids when they like to jump in and say, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" Throughout the day, and it slows me down, and I have to stop what I'm doing to attend to the other thing. And by the time I remember to go to the other tool or the process or the thing I was doing, too late. I got to restart. I don't remember what I was doing, and I would imagine. Yeah, absolutely, every time. And I imagine at scale with some of our largest and even some of our smaller but equally complex customers, that lost context matters, and it's a productivity robber.
100%, and that's what we solve with Amazon SageMaker, right? Like right from the point where you start to discover your data to generating insights. Especially with this new integration, we solve the last leg where once you're exploring your data in Amazon SageMaker, how do you go from Amazon SageMaker to Amazon Quicksight and be able to visualize that data without having to jump through multiple hoops?
Something that comes to mind, I think we talked about this before we came on. You were mentioning about challenges with personal dashboards, right?
Challenges with personal dashboards. Tell me more about this.
So we literally just talked about this.
Did we? You and I?
Yes, you and I, just now. So we talked about how your data analysts, and this is something we as technologists are guilty of. It works on my laptop, works on my dashboard, works in my environment. Does this help solve for that also, where if I've got something built in my dashboards and Fiona's got her dashboard set up, if we were to start using this tool, could we just start using it and discover?
Yes. That it solves that problem too, right? One of the biggest problems right now in any BI tool is that dashboards sort of exist in silos within an analyst's personal BI workspace. So how do you make those dashboards discoverable, more reusable and governed so that other users across the organization can find those? So once you build your dashboard in Quicksight, we can automatically bring those into SageMaker, make those discoverable. So say I build a dashboard, then Fiona can go to SageMaker and find that dashboard. So it's not like a siloed insight that I built for myself.
Interesting.
I can make it discoverable.
And it's also, it sounds like, not just a one-way connection. So data being grabbed from SageMaker, sent into Quicksight, but it can actually come backwards from Quicksight and back into SageMaker.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, so rather than thinking of SageMaker as one piece of the puzzle that's sitting over here, and Quicksight that's one thing that's over here, and having this complicated connection, what you've done is created some deep integration so the customer doesn't have to worry about connecting the two anymore. How exactly was this built? How did you go about setting this up?
So there were lots of challenges in building this integration, and one of the challenges was if you have access to some data that you're able to query in SageMaker, let's say using Amazon Athena, then how do you go and query the same data or be able to access the same data in Quicksight and build dashboards on top of that? So that required a lot of back-end plumbing in terms of setting up the right connections, creating data sets in Quicksight, and making sure that when you go into Quicksight as an analyst or a data scientist, you're focused on doing just one thing, which is building a dashboard and analyzing your data rather than figuring out how do I set up my connection, how do I make my data accessible in Quicksight. So we take away all of that undifferentiated heavy lifting that you have to do as an analyst.
The undifferentiated heavy lifting, that's the key thing. We want to get rid of that. So I love hearing about these things. I love even more getting to see them. Do you have something that you could show us today?
Yes, I have a demo for you.
Let's dive on in then.
All right. So here we are in Amazon SageMaker, if you're seeing
Okay.
my screen.
Absolutely.
And I have a project. And the use case is very simple. There's an analyst who has been asked to build a dashboard, a sales dashboard. Right? How do you go about that? So if I go to data, I can see that I have access to some data already.
Okay.
I have access to this table called customer info, but I don't have access to any sales data.
Oh.
So where do I even start? Right? I'll start by searching the catalog. There's a search bar right here.
Okay.
I can just type sales, and I start seeing some search results. I'll click on the first one, and then what you're seeing here is an asset that is cataloged in SageMaker.
Aha.
And you can see that it has aggregated sales data. You can see a lot of business metadata about this.
Okay.
Not just the technical metadata, like, of course, the technical metadata
Yep.
is there, like where exactly the data resides, which account, and all of that. But there's a lot of business context that helps me understand what this table is about. And I can also see at a column level, what does each column mean.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. And now that I know that this is the right data I need for building a dashboard,
Right.
how do I get access to it? I can simply hit the subscribe button,
Okay.
and I can provide a reason, let's say, for this demo.
Because I want it is
Yeah.
my reason.
Yeah, that typically gets mine kicked back though.
Yeah,
So.
they don't like that.
Sad face.
So what you're saying is that here, this is this built-in way to do data governance. So rather than having to, go to some different places, request access from somewhere else, and then you
Yeah.
get kind of lost along the way, it's actually built in. I get to request my access. Hopefully someone's in the background right away and saying, there you go, it's yours.
Exactly, right? Otherwise, people have to go to like your ticketing system, create a ticket, manually follow up with someone.
We all love tickets.
Oh,
Love a
yes.
ticket.
So, like you were saying, hopefully someone is there to approve this request. So I'm
Yep.
switching my window, and I'm looking at a different project which actually published this asset to the catalog. This is the data
Okay.
owner.
Okay.
So if I go to the subscription request, I can see that there's a request pending,
Aha.
and all I have to do is
So now your view is you're the person who has control of giving access.
yes.
Okay. So
Right.
this is what the other person's seeing.
Yeah, so
see.
I can just simply hit approve and give access.
Okay.
That
Right.
easy.
So now, while this is cooking,
Yeah.
what happened in the background is SageMaker goes into the underlying system. In this case, it goes into AWS Lake Formation
Aha.
and creates a grant, so that once I switch back to my original project, the analytics project, I can see that this asset has been added as a subscribed asset, right? And if I go to my subscribe tab, and it says that it's adding asset. And what that means is
Wow.
behind the scenes is going into Lake Formation and creating a grant for me so that I'm eventually able to access this data.
So that you don't have to go grab the person that mines and manages lake formation to not go into Quicksight, to not have to come.
Yes.
It's always how it goes.
A launch after my own heart as an old gray and mostly grumpy ops person at my heart. Yeah, this makes me super, super happy, to your point, Fiona. Not having to cut a ticket and wait for
Right.
an SLA, wait for somebody to go take an action. This is really, truly intended to be the one-stop shop to eliminate the bulk of the overhead that it actually takes to get somebody access to do the thing.
Right.
It's awesome.
And how fine-grained are the permissions that you can set here?
Yes, so you can, in this case, I gave full table access. So
Okay.
I'll get access to the whole table, but you can also set permission. You can also create filters and give access at a row
Okay.
and column level. So if you
Okay.
want to only give access to, let's say, non-sensitive columns of data, you can do that.
Can we have just read access, just write access?
Just read access.
Okay, just read access is
Yeah.
available.
So now, going back to my data tab, you can see the sales aggregated table exists in my data.
All right,
And
we're looking at the data table. Okay,
right, I can zoom in.
Okay, yeah,
there
please.
we go.
Right? And now the next step, as I was saying, like you have to explore this data. So there's a built-in SQL editor where you can explore this data.
Ah,
You don't have to switch to a separate SQL workbench
Okay.
to be able to explore anything.
and
Right?
now we're
That's
using
nice.
Athena inside of SageMaker.
That's right.
Wow, I would give it a little whistle in here, but I fear that it would be too loud on the microphone. But that's the reaction that I'm having to this, because that's pretty great.
I got you covered. There we go.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. So show us, can you do any sort of, can you show us a SQL action? Oh, you already did.
Oh, I already did,
Oh,
right?
well, you're
So-
one step ahead of me. Wow.
Yeah. So we can execute a query. We can
Okay.
see that this data has some sales, number of orders, and it's segregated by region and store. Seems like the perfect data to build a dashboard, right?
It
Yeah,
does.
absolutely.
How do I build it?
Ah,
So I'm
for
going
the,
to
for
go
the
back
same place.
from the same place.
Okay.
Right. So you're here. I've clicked on the sales aggregated data table.
Okay.
Under actions, there's a there's an option to
Open
open
in
this in
Quicksight.
Quicksight. All I
Okay.
have to do is just hit this button, and then the same data, sales aggregated data, is
It's pulled it up for you in Quicksight.
yes. And just to explain what happened is behind the scenes, SageMaker has done a lot of plumbing, like to be able to
A lot of plumbing, you said?
plumbing.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Okay.
So, like for example, it creates a data source behind the scenes.
Okay.
And data source is essentially a connection,
Right.
which is how does Quicksight connect to Athena to be able to
Ah.
query the same data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we set that up behind the scenes. We create a data set in Quicksight, which is essentially the same with the same name as the table.
Right.
So all you have to do as an analyst now is just use it in your analysis. You don't have to worry about creating a data source, creating a data set, or anything.
Right.
You just use this in an analysis, and
Okay.
we'll just build a quick dashboard here. We
Because previously we'd have to kind of go sorting through the options, look for that specific data set. Maybe it would be hidden in a couple folders, and it would be kind of difficult for me to find. I've
Right.
got it pulled up on SageMaker, but then I'm kind of looking for it in Quicksight, and it's getting a little complicated.
That's correct.
This
right.
is pretty great. Chat, do any of you use Quicksight and SageMaker together? Is this something that you think you could use the same way that Adrian is saying he's excited about it?
Follow-up question, if you're not using it today because of this specific reason, do you think this is something that you might want to start using now?
I like that follow-up question.
I got you.
So what is your favorite thing about this launch? Is there any piece that you think the customers are just going to go crazy for?
I think it's the ease of use.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Going from your data exploration to building a dashboard in Quicksight becomes very, very easy.
Yeah.
Right? Just because we do so many things behind the scenes for customers.
Totally.
So that's my favorite part. Like it's like one-click access to Quicksight, which I think is very powerful. And and now that we are in Quicksight, we have
Okay,
a
we're
data
in
set
Quicksight
already.
now.
We can build a dashboard very easily, right? So here I'm showing total sales, and let's say by region. I just select those two fields,
Yeah.
and it creates a nice chart for me.
Ooh,
And I
give me
can
a chart by date.
Wow, you are so pushy this morning.
you need a chart by date. That's also
Yeah.
possible.
Ooh,
you go.
I like it.
Wow.
And then you can, Quicksight is also a very powerful business intelligence tool,
Yeah.
right? It has a lot of generative AI capability. So let's maybe add one more chart.
Yeah,
Okay.
And for
please.
that, we can use some of the generative BI capabilities that Quicksight
Ooh,
offers.
okay, I love that.
Okay,
So-
so that's a new one I haven't heard of, or at least I don't think I've heard of it. Generative BI, is that kind of what it sounds like, using intuitive artificial intelligence to generate business intelligence type of queries and outcomes?
Exactly. Exactly. So let me just show you, right? So let's say average order value is a very common metric in retail, right?
Okay.
So let's create a new field. And for this, we are not going to create it manually. We're just going to build this calculation by
Oh,
describing.
and we're just telling it to build
Right.
it for
Oh.
us. Is this Q in Quicksight?
This is Q and
This is
Quicksight.
Q in Quicksight, everyone. So
So-
we get to tell it with natural language what it is that we're wanting to see.
Yeah, as total
Mm-hmm.
sales by total number of orders.
Okay.
And as a really bad DBA and really truly worse business intelligence person or business analyst, having to work with these different databases, warehouses, etc., to go and build the queries that I want sometimes would take me personally days, weeks, hours, and
Right.
it's depending on what specifically it was. Even to just go find a specific table, being able to do this in NLP while this cooks, it's huge.
Yeah.
It cannot be understated how much of a time saver it is.
Totally.
Because it could take somebody like me who knows nothing about this to be just as proficient as somebody that actually knows what they're talking about and doing. If you had not tried it out, please do.
Yeah, give this a shot.
Right. So you can see now that it created a formula for me. I did not
I
have
like
to
it.
create it manually. I'll
Mhm.
just insert it and save it. So now you can see that average order value shows up as a new field
Whoa.
here. And now, how do I use it in a chart? Again, like I don't have to do it manually. I
Yeah.
can just ask you to do that for me.
All
So
right.
here we're going to say
That's crazy.
stores with highest average order value.
All right.
And let's see if it builds a chart for us.
Getting data. The
do it.
integration is at play here.
And there it goes. Okay.
Interpreted as average order value.
There you
Woo!
go. So
And it's built the table for you. Wow.
it's built a chart for me.
Okay.
And all it required was a natural language query. and you can see all the stores
Wow.
and sorted by the average order value. So you can see which stores are doing well on average order value.
So this really is an end-to-end solution. You've got the data sitting in SageMaker. You've created this connection directly to Quicksight. Then using that data that you've easily connected into Quicksight that they didn't have to look for, there's Q for Quicksight, which can create a new value for you just by you saying, hello, Q, I want you to make this for me. It made you a new value. And then now that you have this new value, you don't even need to make the table yourself. You say, hey, make a new table for me with this new value I created, and boom, it's done.
Right. So now I'll just publish this dashboard quickly, and then I want to show you the next thing. So I published this dashboard.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm in Quicksight now. I've published this dashboard. I think this is a great dashboard that anyone in the organization should be able to find, even if they don't have access.
Okay.
Right?
So we want, okay, I see.
So I'm going to switch back to my SageMaker project.
Okay.
Right? Now, what we do behind the scenes is whenever a dashboard is created, we bring that back into SageMaker.
Okay.
So from there, you can make that dashboard discoverable and findable, so anyone in the organization
That two-way connection.
Yeah.
I love it.
So if I go to my assets, I think it'll take a couple of minutes, maybe a minute for the dashboard to show up.
Give it a second. Load, load, load.
Okay, and while this cooks, is there anything that you would like to leave as a bit of guidance for chat and audience to go out and start experimenting, how they can start consuming and get started?
Yeah, to get started with this, you'll have to do a one-time setup in the AWS console, set up the integration between SageMaker and Quicksight, and once you do that, your analysts who are working in SageMaker, they can start using this. All they have to do is create a project with Quicksight enabled in it, and they have this integration, this one-click access. So
sounds pretty easy to me.
That does sound pretty easy.
So there you go. We have
our
the
dashboard's created.
Sales dashboard created right here, and all from here we can see that it brought in all the information about the dashboard from Quicksight, like what's the dashboard URL, what's the name, in which account does it exist, and so on. And on top of that, you can also add some business metadata, like for example, I can give it a description.
This is a sales dashboard. Good thing you wrote that.
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
I couldn't tell by the name sales dashboard.
You'd be surprised. The average user is like, what is for?
Right, and you just publish it so that it becomes discoverable. Now, anyone, once it is published, anyone can find this in the catalog. So if I type sales, now you're seeing the sales dashboard in the search results.
Yeah. So anyone with access to SageMaker now can see that.
Right. Exactly. Right. So anyone who has access to SageMaker can find it.
Absolutely.
And another thing is you can also share this dashboard with users right from SageMaker.
Okay.
So here I can select Bob.
Bob Marley needs to see this.
Yeah,
he needs to see this.
I think he would think this is quite jamming.
Straight to Bob Marley.
And all I have to do, like any business user or any team that needs access, I can share this dashboard with them from within SageMaker. I don't have to necessarily go to Quicksight to be able to do that.
This is awesome. Well, I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for showing us this. I think customers are really going to love this easy integration, the way that you've completely simplified the connection between SageMaker and Quicksight. Thank you for joining us. This has been a great conversation. And to all of you who are tuned in and watching, we hope that you enjoyed this segment. And we hope that you're going to stay tuned because we're going to be passing it now to Jasmine. Jasmine is at the Startup Loft booth, so don't go anywhere. Head on over to Jasmine.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Jasmine, and we are joined here on the expo floor at the AWS New York Summit. I'm in the AWS Startup Loft booth, and I'm joined here with Alexis. Hey, Alexis, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So tell us, what is the AWS Startups Loft, and what can we find here?
Yeah, our AWS Startups Loft is our innovative hub for all things startups and AWS. So we invite our startups customers to come, and we have our meeting hub over here where we invite all stage startups and business leaders, and we have our AWS experts here to really foster conversations about how our startups are building on AWS. In addition to our meeting hub floor, which is really interactive, we also have our speaker section in the back, which you could probably hear right now, where we're inviting our high potential startups to come on stage and talk about their experiences with AWS and just building companies in general.
Yeah, so there's a lot of energy here at the booth today in person, but for those watching at home, what stage startups do we work with at AWS, and what do we do with them?
Yeah. We really work with all stage startups. We see anything from pre-seed, seed, to our late series startups. And the way that we work with them at AWS is really working backwards from where they are in their journey. So whether it's helping them find that product market fit or helping them grow and scale on AWS, we really foster our AWS engagement with those customers and kind of meet them where they're at.
Yeah. I love seeing that, and I love seeing all the folks here stopping by. There's a lot of different kiosks and experiences here today. So who's this for today here at the expo floor? And what are they going to learn? Are there sessions?
Yeah, so again, the Startup Hub is really for anybody. We, of course, invite our startups customers, but we also invite our enterprise and business decision leaders to come and meet with AWS and also our startups to learn how they can maybe adopt them into their solutions. So we have some really awesome things going on at the floor, really interactive area. So we have our Activates credit section, which is going to talk about how AWS is really investing in our startups customers by giving them credits to kickstart their innovation on our platform. We also have our Ask Our Expert section, which is a really fun area to come up to the booth and just talk about your ideas and what your company is trying to do on AWS. And our experts can help, match those puzzle pieces and really get you moving. We, of course, have our theater section, which is a 60-seat area where anybody can come. Listen, we have fun panels going on with our startup leaders and co-founders. We also have really innovative sessions around AI and really cutting-edge technologies going on all day today. And then, of course, my favorite, we have our proto-hologram section here.
Yeah, so tell us about the proto-hologram. What is it? I think it's the big elephant here, right? But it's the big Swami, and so people are excited. They're coming up right now as we're here to see what it is and why there's a giant Swami in the expo hall.
Of course, yeah. So our proto-hologram is probably one of my favorite modalities for interacting with AI. So it is a live hologram that emulates real-life interactions. So, of course, we have our VP of Agentic AI, Swami, here, who's answering questions about the AWS Summit in a live forum. And it really does feel like he's here with us today, which is awesome, and our customers are loving it.
Yeah, I've gotten to hear some of the answers today, so you can go up and ask a question. People are saying, like, hey, what kind of AWS startups do you work with? And it's giving back answers and telling the things that you're going to hear from some of the experts as well, but in a different format.
Yes, it's really incredible. We're hearing some awesome questions. Swami's getting really deep into Amazon Bedrock, which is actually what he is powered by, our hologram machine here today. And yeah, we're talking about all things New York Summit and all things AWS and, of course, AI.
Yeah, we're nearing the close here, so tell us, something fun that's happened with a startup recently that we've done with AWS, and then where folks can go next to learn more about AWS startups.
Yeah. So we have a lot of startups innovating on AWS, and I think one of my favorite interactions that I'm having with them is how we are enabling them to use AI. And of course, it usually comes back to our Amazon Bedrock platform. And what's really fun is watching our startups come and take their business ideas and map them to AWS services and bring customers to their platform. So really exciting. And if you want to learn more about AWS and AWS startups, I'm sure we could throw some links in the chat and send you that way. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alexis, for being here with us. And stay tuned with more. We're back to the desk with Aaron.
Hello and welcome back. You know where you are. You're at the New York Summit in 2025. My name is Fiona McCann. I am a solutions architect at AWS, and I'm very excited to be here today for another segment here with my co-host Aaron. Aaron, how you doing? Do you want to introduce yourself?
I am great. Hey everyone, my name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a principal developer advocate with the AWS training and certification team, but it's not just the Fiona and Aaron show because we have Sky, So-Young, and Jay. So-Young and Jay are from 12 Labs, and they have a very big announcement to share with each of you today. Sky, how you doing?
Hello, thanks for having us. Hi everyone, I'm Sky Hart. I'm a senior technical generative AI BD, and I work with the most amazing generative AI startups in the world. So super happy to be here alongside So-Young and Jay. Please tell them about yourselves in the launch.
So-Young, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Hey everyone, I'm So-Young. I'm one of the co-founders of 12 Labs, where I lead the go-to-market side. And Jay.
And I'm Jay, one of the co-founders and CEO at 12 Labs.
Wow, so thank you so much for being here. We have very exciting news as 12 Labs has just launched on Amazon Bedrock.
I know, very exciting.
Yay,
it's like the culmination of our partnership and all the hard work for the past couple of months. It's amazing.
It's an incredible story, and I am very curious, as I'm sure we all are, on why 12 Labs was founded. What is your mission? Tell us more.
Yeah, so 12 Labs was founded about 4.5 years ago, so I would say like pre-ChatGPT, where we thought about just pushing the boundaries in AI, and we've seen incredible progress happening on the scaling the language model side of things. But we felt the need for someone else working on perceptual reasoning, like video understanding. And video is such a rich data where we record our history, our work, our friendship, everything, right? And we wanted to build and train a model that can understand videos like humans. And it has incredible opportunities for businesses and many aspects of our lives. So 12 Labs is a video understanding infrastructure for enterprises and developers. So you can think of us as a full stack research product company that's building video indexing infrastructure that can scale to a couple petabytes worth of video content. And on top of that, we have proprietary models that can help you search for things really quickly out of massive archives and be able to generate dynamic metadata or interact with your video archive. And then we are also adding an incredible agentic layer where we're working with AWS on creating that experience together.
That's amazing. And you highlighted a little bit about the market of video. And as we know, we interact with video in everything we do during the day.
All day.
All day. And so I read this interesting stat recently, and I want to propose it to the channel, which is what % of the world's data is estimated to be in video format?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a massive question.
Big poll.
I would not.
It's also on our deck.
What do we think? Well, I bet you know the answer.
Yeah, you know that
it's a massive 10. It's a massive 10.
So it's up on the screen.
Okay, so 50
we see the poll.
50, 80, or 95.
I mean, the lowest here being 50 is pretty crazy. That's a lot of data. And you know, it's interesting because so much data can exist in video, but it's hard to get insights from it if you have to kind of be just sitting there and watching the video yourself, because I don't have time to sit and watch an hour-long video to find the 5 seconds that has the clip that I need the data from.
You don't have 32 hours in a day?
I just don't have 32 hours.
Well, so it's maybe more than 50, maybe more than 80, but
we're seeing a guess in the chat here
what are
for
you thinking?
C.
For C, for 95%?
Is it still cheating if I guess, or can I?
You can share, yeah.
It's 90%. So 90% of the world's data is in video.
Wow.
And if you think about it, it's not that surprising because the way in which, like Jay said, in which we communicate, we tell stories, we learn, even work together. This is in video form as well. It's all done in video. And all of that in history is captured somewhere because so much knowledge and humanness is there.
We are currently creating some of the content that's going to join.
We are on video.
Live at the New York Summit.
Jazz hands. So your customers can use your technology in so many different disciplines across media and entertainment, and sports and advertisement. So tell us what they're most excited about in 12 Labs and how they're using you today.
So a lot of these organizations, if you think about it, every minute, every hour of their video library is so precious because it's how they create, how they monetize is the bedrock of their business. Traditionally, video is so difficult to understand because it has everything that's human in it. So it's visual, there's raw audio and sound, but there's also language, there's temporal context. You need to put it together holistically to understand context, not only for one video, but entire petabytes of libraries.
Yeah.
And then give everyone within the organization access to search, utilize that library, as well as your partners outside of the organization. So customers are super excited. Number one is they understand the pain of manually tagging video.
Right.
Going from, having to actually
been there,
watch
actually.
it, scrub through, tag, and then manage that metadata and all of those files. And through AI today and being able to contextually understand content, now you're able to just describe moments as if you were to a friend. And instantly, you can actually take all of that data and turn it into usable information that you can actually pull knowledge and insight from. Which, for media companies, that means that's new ways to tell stories, new ways to monetize and license content. For other organizations, that's video-driven. They have their other set of use cases to drive insight.
I'm sure that when you were building this, you kind of had an idea of what you thought a customer might use your service for. Is there anything that a customer has done that's been so out of the box, innovative, that you kind of didn't anticipate them using it that way?
Ooh. I think every day it's popping out, but I guess like the inception story of 12 Labs, we were mostly focused on enabling search, right? So we thought that search was a gateway kind of use case into video understanding. But with our customers' feedback, we actually made our embeddings available. And the way they figure out add insertion points to recommendations, it's incredibly powerful to see. And then there are use cases that are coming out not from like media, entertainment, sports, advertising, the usual suspect industries, but rather from manufacturing to even defense. Right?
Interesting.
These use cases are coming out of woodwork, and we're really excited to see that the technology is finally getting there, where we're able to scale and provide this kind of capabilities to like diverse set of videos.
Wow, that's super exciting. And the value's certainly there. I mean, time is a commodity in itself, but the creativity and all the different use cases that you can see. I don't know, I'd love to see it.
Show us.
In action.
Cool.
A visual person.
A visual person. See it actually.
It is a very visual product.
That's true. So I'm going to show you the 12 Labs playground. So you can go to playground.12labs.io, sign up for a free account, and then you can start to put your own videos in to see what this can do for you. We have an announcement where you can actually access these models through the Bedrock platform, but I'll walk you through kind of an easy way to test. So I have videos here, all owned by 12 Labs, 65 videos here.
Okay.
And all we did here was the AI, Marengo and Pegasus, which are our two models. Marengo being the embedding model to power search and discovery of content, and then second is Pegasus, which allows you to analyze and interact with your footage in language. Once the content has been indexed and embeddings have been created, then you can describe anything you're trying to find. So here I'm trying to find a surfer escaping from the barrel of a collapsing wave.
At least it's not a shark.
And once you run it, instantly you're able to find that exact moment where this happens. Because we're an API and meant to work in the back end of your tools, your workflows, the products you are building, you see the JSON.
You see the JSON there, yeah, absolutely.
Of which video and start and a timestamp. So that's a really easy way. It powered through video embeddings. And embeddings can also be used to search for things like not just text to video search, but you could also use this for image. So let's say you're trying to find products within large libraries of video. You can upload an image of a product and be able to identify that across the library. Here's the second interaction.
Before we do that, is it okay if we pull up your actual product landing page?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, producers, can you bring up my screen real quick? And then I want to kind of walk through this and show like your product landing page. Here we are. So we can search and understand your videos with AI. You were talking about these different models. So if I scroll down here, you can see no more tags, missed moments, or unreachable data, just human understanding at AI scale. And you're showing us these different options in the playground, right? So I think it's really cool and powerful. Oh, hey, look, it's us.
I see it there.
Yeah. All right.
Recognize that logo.
And then also what we see is 12 Labs in Amazon Bedrock with these two different models. But we're going to come to that in just a few moments. So let's go back to your demo in your playground and finish that off.
Fantastic. So this is the second interaction of Pegasus, and this is our Analyze API. Now I'm taking this footage, which we all have similar cameras, and it's a video of somebody taking a package. So I'm actually going to ask, write me a short report on what takes place in this footage. It could even be a question of, did somebody take my package? What were they wearing? And it gives you a description of saying a blue man in a blue hoodie approaches a white gate, takes a package, and walks out of frame.
I didn't know we'd be solving crime today.
I know. I need that in the package room at my apartment mailroom.
So this is one type of interaction, but you could also ask it to extract what are the highlightable moments of the sports game.
Right. Okay.
What are the chapters? Summarize each chapter. Give me hashtags. Classify this video into this taxonomy so I can use it for ad insertion or content moderation, etc.
What about honestly, Control F or some of the other ingrained features you might see in this? Are there any other interesting features to mention?
Yeah, so I think for semantic search, right, you can basically describe things, but we're also going to be releasing a very new feature where you're going to be able to register a couple entities or object of interest that models might not have seen, but we don't train it on those data. But we can just tell it, hey, this is Sky, for example, and the model learns, and it'll be able to kind of register.
Feels very superhero-y, sci-fi, super intelligence, if I may. Very cool.
Superhero-y?
Yeah.
Nice.
All possible because we have really, really powerful embedding model.
Okay, very cool.
So we have a lot of features that you've shown us. That's one thing that you said is coming next. What else can customers kind of be sitting on the edge of their seat for, and waiting to see from 12 Labs?
I don't know if our product org is going to like this, but we have a lot of exciting things happening on the real-time video processing. So I think a lot of our customers are right now focused on, I already have so much data, right? Some of our customers are coming to us with 50 petabytes worth of data that they've already amassed. But a ton of videos are created in real time, like this one, for example.
Exactly.
Real-time streaming, right? So we're trying to bring this kind of capabilities to streaming data. We're also working with a few partners on bringing these capabilities on device.
Wow.
So really trying to become visual cortex for all applications, whether it's digital or physical.
I think that's pretty powerful to have real-time video processing, automatically adding tags, highlighting these key moments or top moments, and maybe even comparing them against each other behind the scenes and saying, we thought this was a top moment, but now this is a new top moment in the video. Yeah.
Because if I have that real-time streaming of my porch, it can maybe then alert me if it sees someone that's coming in that is stealing my package.
Exactly.
In real time.
Exactly.
I like that. So you said that you're on Bedrock. Can you tell us a little bit about your partnership with AWS and why you think that your customers are going to like the fact that you can access your models from Bedrock?
Yeah. So one of the things that models aside, right? 12 Labs is our folks are really good at building these models, but our thesis is a lot of search and retrieval are moving towards reasoning and also embedding based, right? Which means we need to have equally competent partners who can provide us with, vector storage infrastructure. So we work really closely with S3 vector storage team. And congratulations on the launch. This is an impressive work. So we work with on the storage side of things a lot, right? And I think AWS has done an incredible job making the S3 really, really powerful for a lot of our customers to just store, dump petabytes worth of video content. So that's on the storage and infrastructure side of things. But we also work with the Hyperpod team a lot, the SageMaker Hyperpod team. So it's really, really painful when it comes to scale, training a large models.
Can't even imagine.
It's not an easy thing to do.
And
multimodal data.
The node failures, right? The old days of fixing node failures. But working really closely with Hyperpod team, our research teams, I guess lifespan increased, right? Nice. So no more pulling crazy all-nighters. Thanks to that. So all aspects of 12 Labs has some AWS components in it, and we're really, really happy about the partnership.
That's so good to know. And the automatic node failures and things like that. But I have a question for you. If I was to get started as an individual or an enterprise, walk me through how to access 12, where would I start?
Yeah, I think 12 Labs is super simple. You just go to our website that Aaron showed, create an account, grab an API key and start building. Wow. We've created a lot of sample applications, demos, API docs are pretty good. So you can get started right now.
Wow.
And if you're just getting started, you can actually go into Amazon Bedrock as well. So if we can pull up my screen here, and what we'll see is what we'll see soon is 12 labs in Amazon Bedrock, and I'll jump into Amazon Bedrock directly, and I'll show you how to enable this new model, actually 2 new models. So here we see 12 labs in Amazon Bedrock, introducing 12 labs, our friends Soyoung and Jay right over here. There's 2 different state-of-the-art video understanding models, and we have Marengo 2.7 and Pegasus 1.2. Hey, what happened to Marengo 1.1?
It's in our hearts.
Okay.
In good memories.
But here you can see the 2 different models that you have access to, and if you jump over to the Amazon Bedrock Management Console, then you'll be able to see that there's a model catalog, and we have a lot of different model partners, but our brand new one here, which we're super excited to talk about today, is 12 Labs.
Be the first one to use it.
Yeah, be
I
the
dare
first one to
you.
use it. Yeah, let us know in the chat if you're the first one to launch it. I just want to call out real quick that I am in the Ireland region. That's where you can see both of these models. So if you only see one of the models, then you might want to switch over to the Ireland region if that works for you. But here, if we scroll all the way down on the left-hand side under providers, then you can see that we can eventually get down to 12 labs, or you can go ahead and search for 12 labs at the top and spotlight them directly. So once you have that, then you can see that it's available to request. So I would need to actually modify my model access permissions. If I click on it real quick, then it's going to pull up a notice for us to say, like, hey,
give yourself access.
Give yourself access. You can request it. And I can go to my request model access directly from this page to change my model access and what that actually looks like. So here, if I just type 12 labs right here, then you can see that I have 0 to 0 access granted, but I need to modify that. So let's go ahead and go all the way down and find our 12 labs right here. And I need to...
You need to go to the top first.
You're right. And actually, where is it?
Enable AI models.
Enable specific models. Yeah, you can enable all of them, but I want to enable specific models.
See, my glasses aren't strong enough.
I know, it's okay. That's why there's more than one person talking.
Perfect.
See, you helped me. You were like, go to the top.
Yeah,
and then
it's a teamwork thing.
Yeah. So I can select both of them right here by checking this box, or I can select just one of them. Marengo embed 2.7 because 1.1 is in our hearts. But I'm going to go ahead and select both of them, and then I'll click next. And I want to make sure to read all the terms and conditions.
Of course.
Yes, of course. And then hit submit. And if we go back over to my model catalog and search for a model, Pegasus. There we go. So now we can see that we have 12 labs Pegasus, and we have access granted. So it's that easy for you to go and enable that model. But that's not it.
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
No way.
You can go into Amazon or AWS Skill Builder, and there's an Amazon Bedrock Getting Started guide. So if you want to go through it on your own, you can do it that way. And also there's a build generative AI applications using Amazon Bedrock. And last but not least, go test it out in the 12 Labs playground.
Can I plug something that I don't know if I'm able to plug yet? We might be hosting a hackathon shortly to try out different use cases with 12. So stay tuned for more on that.
So pumped for it.
Yeah.
So pumped for it.
So Aaron, I love that you showed this integration with Bedrock, because Soyoung, you were mentioning that your team is fantastic at building these models, but you like partnering with us because we have HyperPod, which are distributed clusters for distributed training and things like S3. And so with working with Bedrock specifically, are there features in this integration with Bedrock that you think your customers are going to love working with on Bedrock?
Great question.
Yeah, great question. I would say 2 things. So one, customers who have video, customers who have large libraries of video, their videos are extremely precious to them. Whether it's because of IP, they want to protect their data. They want to make sure that other organizations don't have access to their data. And so having these models that are frontier and being able to use that really quickly and easily while not kind of moving their data that's like the #1 thing that we hear from customers. I think the second thing is, how do you now combine multimodal models with other agent systems and other models to create a hybrid system, something that's more agentic, something that can actually automate an end-to-end process, is something that we're observing our customers starting to build out right now. So we're super excited about the agentic side as well.
Totally.
I think one more thing to add. I think we love building on top of AWS, but I think what's most important is our customers love building on top of AWS, right? So being on Bedrock makes us just super easy to be integrated in their already existing AWS workflow.
Yeah, using either the 12 Labs APIs directly or Bedrock APIs to access your models, and just it's all in one
That's
place.
right.
If they're already using Bedrock,
That's right.
now they have access.
Yeah, although we're friendly people, they might not want to talk to us and just go straight to building, right? And if it's readily available on Bedrock, it's right there. You can go and build it in seconds.
Wow. So we have about 1 minute left. What's your #1 call for people to do? Go in the playground, test it out, and play and get experience with it, right?
That's right. Go check it out. Give us feedback. We're rapidly improving. And we have new models coming out soon. Hopefully it's on Bedrock too.
Okay.
Go check it out and give us feedback.
That's
amazing.
Huge. 12, thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause for
Thanks
the
for
launch.
having us.
Congratulations on
It
the
was
launch.
a lot of time coming, so amazing.
Thank
All
you.
right, Fiona, you're going to wrap this up for us?
Absolutely. Well, we hope that you learned something new today. There's new models always coming out on Bedrock. This is a really fantastic example of a model that's on the frontier. You heard it here, 90% of your data is video. So figure out how to get some insights from that with 12 Labs. Stay tuned. We're not going anywhere. We got lots of content for you.
We also have a survey.
Oh, and we also have a survey.
Complete the survey. Let us know how we did today. And yeah, stay tuned for more from AWS On Air live at the New York Summit. Thanks, Fiona.
Bye.
Thanks.
We are putting the amazing capabilities and knowledge of AWS, both around autonomous agents and LLMs themselves, but also around how data in the cloud and tools operate. We actually believe that they help our scientists do better. The really cool part happens when you let the agent and our top performer scientists work together. Then they perform together far better than our best scientists. And that means that our best scientist is now a better version of themselves.
I'm Mel Reed, LPGA Tour player, co-host of the podcast Quiet Please, golf analyst. I'm here today with AWS to check out the PGA Tour studios. So Scott, this place is pretty impressive. What kind of things are you working on here?
So my teams are responsible for 2 areas. They're responsible for the broadcast technologies that are across the course in PGA Tour studios, and all the digital technologies that are our apps and websites and AR and VR that bring all the play from our players to our fans.
So obviously, I'm a big fan of TourCast. I use it all the time whenever I'm going on the PGA Tour app. Just a wealth of knowledge right in my hand. I think it was just last week I was using it to check out some data, I think from last year's tournament. Just amazing. It's just so fast. But I'm thinking to myself, it must have thousands of users beside me. How does it handle all that data so smoothly and so quickly?
That's the biggest challenge for us, is that we have 18 fields of play, we have 150 acres to cover. Our golf technology team has to capture all of that data through radar and cameras and get that back to us as quickly as possible. Our fans want to see the information about a shot just as that shot's coming to rest, or even sometimes before it's come to rest, so they understand how that player is performing. AWS plays a key role in that, and allowing us to work on latency to make sure that we're delivering with services that are as fast as possible, and to make sure that we can distribute that all around the world to fans no matter where they are.
So it would be amazing to watch a tournament. I remember what every player has done before it's even happened, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and now you can.
That's right, and we historically, you can go back and look at the tournament last year on TourCast and see how that player performed. See all, like you said, all of the conditions. You can see where they put a ball in order to make a birdie or an eagle or an ace, and really have that opportunity to understand how that player is playing this year versus last year. One of the key parts is our players actually use TourCast as a tool as well too. So they're looking at it during tournaments, sometimes before they go out to play. They're definitely looking at a lot of it after play. And they're also looking at other tools that we provide to them. So we provide, within about 15 minutes of their round ending, we provide them with a cut down of their entire round. Players are coming back in, working with their coaches, looking at that round and on a website that we have right now for them, and being able to say, okay, here's what I did on this hole. When I come back tomorrow and play that hole, here's what I really need to be doing in order to take advantage of the conditions or the situation that they're in. So we can create these experiences not only for our fans, but also for the players to use as a tool to improve their performance.
So what's in store for TourCast? Like, what does the future look like?
So for us, for the future, what we're working on right now is synthetic voice that will allow fans to actually hear the commentary. And then once we move on from that, we're also working on several projects that will generate round recaps for any player that you select as your favorite player. We'll be able to look at fantasy golf what's happened with the fantasy players that you have on your team, and generate that point of view. And then different points of view. If you're new to golf, maybe you want a point of view that's explaining golf to you while you're following a new favorite golfer. Or perhaps you're into sports betting, so you want a really more of a stats, probabilities, win probabilities, closest to the pin point of view on the players that you're following. So we really believe that this is where TourCast is going to go, and frankly, the rest of our digital platforms will offer this too.
And I think that's what's amazing about AWS TourCast is that it's got a little bit for everything and for everybody, to be quite honest with you. And I just can't wait to take this knowledge with me onto the golf course. Thank you so much. You've been fascinating to listen to. You've got a lot of information in that head of yours, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Mel.
Well, thank you for coming with me today, and I hope you had a fantastic time in learning what AWS is doing with the PGA Tour to bring better information to you guys at home, the fans. If you want any more information on this, please go to their site. Hi guys, so we're here for the first ever TourCast Challenge powered by AWS. I'm here with these fine gentlemen. First of all, my name is Mel Reed.
Grant Horvat. Roger Steele.
And we are going to recreate one of the most iconic holes and one of the most iconic venues by a past champion. All right, boys, no pressure here, but this is a pretty big highlight, and it's the 4th hole, par 4. And the cool thing about this TourCast is that you can go back in time and look at the shots that these guys played. The cool thing about this is that we can literally see what he hit off the tee, where he hit it, what was the shot shape.
175 ball speed, 2,700 backspin. So it was just a stock fade down the right side of the fairway.
So your 6-iron.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Nobody's bragging here.
So look, we're gonna try and recreate this, hole it in 2, make an eagle, and basically we can't go home until we do it. So you guys up for the challenge?
So I see here last year's champ, he hit it over that bunker right here. So I'm gonna try and hit it over that line.
The TourCast data told me to hit the fade, you play the fade. Jeez.
I mean, you faded it.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
That'll be fine.
Now, though I did not find the fairway, I will have you know that I'm the first person to actually hit the fade as the hole required.
I'm faking it. Go. Ooh.
That looks real good.
Dang.
I tell you what.
I think that I'm the TourCast Challenge champion of the world.
We can give you that title.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
We're cool with that.
You go.
TourCast Challenge
Yeah.
champion.
Is it
Listen to
on-
the data, people. Listen to the data. It tells you the answers.
All right, boys. Now we've had a little bit of a play around with the TourCast powered by AWS. I kind of want to know your favorite things. I'll go first, even though you didn't ask me to go first. Favorite thing for me, I'm a visual learner and I'm a bit of a golf nerd, as you can probably imagine. Me seeing the video in the corner just really brought it to life for me. Somebody who commentates on golf, it's a great tool for me.
Yeah.
So Grant, what was yours?
I would say, yeah, similar to what you said, I would say seeing exactly where the past champ hit it and knowing his exact yardage into the hole. Also the instant replay, getting to see what club he hit off the tee as well as into the green. Roger, what was yours?
I think holistically being able to look at the data from each of the rounds for each of the players and start to understand course management through data from the best in the world is something that's interesting to me.
Well, it was cool to see the past champion hit a fade.
Yep.
And then you hit
And
fade.
I hit fade. If you just
read it out.
If you listen to the data, it takes care of things
Yeah.
for
It does.
But the data doesn't hit the fade for you.
The data cannot hit the fade for you. You got to do that.
All right, well, that was it. The first ever TourCast Challenge, and it was an honor to be around our champion, Roger Steele.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You played great.
Thank you all for letting me win.
You did great. You did great, Roger. So, Roger, you know what it's like to win the TourCast Challenge, but we have a tour winner right here, Mel Reed. What is it like to win on tour?
It probably feels like what Roger's feeling like right now. And to be honest, I wish we actually had the TourCast data back then, because I'd make you two watch my final round over and over again as punishment. That would have been quite
That
cool.
would be a joy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'd love to see your data.
Thank
I'd be
you.
asking Gen AI for a lot of advice as well along the way.
You need a lot of it.
And if you guys want to learn more about AWS technologies, where do you go, Roger?
You can just go to the AWS website.
Welcome back to our live coverage here at the AWS Summit in New York City, Adrian. We're here. We're here. Oh.
We are here together, buddy. Thank you for getting me roped into this mess.
You got it. I'm AM. I'm one of your hosts. I'm a developer advocate here at AWS, and we are joined by a very important set of guests. But first, Adrian, tell them about you.
Hey everyone, my name is Adrian San Miguel. I'm a principal partner enterprise architect here at AWS, working with technology partners just like our guests. So I'd love to hand it over to you, Dave. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dave Salvatore with NVIDIA. I'm a director of accelerated computing products. And with me to my right here is Rohil. Rohil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Rohil Bhargava. I'm a senior product marketing manager here at NVIDIA, focused on cloud infrastructure.
Okay, so everybody loves talking about agentic AI right now. That's on everybody's mind. That's what we're here to talk about during this segment as well.
Yes,
you want to
indeed.
give us an overview quickly of NVIDIA's agentic AI product suite?
Sure. So we do a ton of work around agentic. A lot of it involves enabling others to be able to build their models and to build their applications. But one thing in particular we've worked on is something called Nemotron. And this is a set of technologies that we've used to enhance a lot of open community models, like Llama, for instance, where we now have what's called Llama Nemotron, where we take what is an open community model, and then we do a lot of optimization around it. We also build reasoning capabilities into it, and then we make those models available to the community for them to go ahead and use. And then if they want to go ahead and further tweak or optimize them, they can do that as well.
I love it. And if I'm building in AWS, where do I go to get access to Nemotron models?
So these models are available in the marketplace.
Okay.
And you can just grab them right there. And then we also have demos of these available on build.nvidia.com, which we'll show you in just a minute.
Okay.
So, you hear that, Adrian?
I did hear.
Okay.
And that is quite telling. And so, sorry, I had to.
Show, not tell.
Question though. We are hearing a lot from customers and from partners alike about the different type of problems and use cases that they're starting to go out and tackle with agentic AI. What would be one of those that you would maybe recommend that they start pursuing, leveraging the Nemotron models?
Well, I mean, it's more like what problems can't it solve, right?
Fair.
Because they are incredibly versatile models. But I mean, initially it's things like, as an example, a research agent is a great example of doing, market research. Or in some cases, you can even do things like building out marketing plans or building out even business strategy plans. In terms of basically amplifying the abilities of the people on your team to do their work sort of better, stronger, faster, but also to just, really help them, be able to do more and get it done more quickly.
Interesting. It's interesting you pick research. Most of the time that I get to spend with partners is helping them figure out the next market fit, the next thing they should go build, pursue, investigate. I could see that taking myself personally anywhere between hundreds to thousands of hours to actually having a hypothesis to go out and test.
Right.
I can imagine something like this being carved down to hours, minutes maybe.
Yeah. Well, one example I'll give you is I use these models on a regular basis to do a scan of sites like, for instance, archive.org, where a lot of academic papers are getting published. And a lot of those are kind of signals about what might be coming next to the market. And so it's a great way to sort of kind of do some trend spotting on sites like that and other sites, that are kind of covering the where AI is going type, trend lines, and to be able to understand where we think, the next big breakthrough might come.
Now, you said earlier we've got some demos on build.nvidia.com.
We do.
Yes,
Rohil,
we do.
You want to take us
So
there?
Rohil.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can see my screen right now, I'm on build.nvidia.com.
All right.
And on that website, we have a whole catalog of AI models that you can take and deploy on AWS. An example of one of those models is the Llama Nemotron model that Dave just talked about. And I'm on that model card right now.
Okay.
And we can experience the model right here. And it's actually accelerated by DGX Cloud. So let's ask it a question, maybe describe the partnership between AWS and NVIDIA. And you'll see, you can see it thinking. It's got incredible reasoning capabilities, which enhances its accuracy. And you'll see in just a moment that it spits out a very great answer that's coherent and structured. So these models, if you're happy with the experience, you can actually take them and deploy them on AWS. And as we were talking about earlier, these are available on the marketplace in two different configurations. One is our super model with 49 billion parameters. And the other one is a nano model, 8 billion parameters. So depending on your use case, whether it's an edge deployment or a smaller deployment or a more cost-efficient deployment, you can choose what size of the model that you'd like. And these are also available to deploy today on Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart and Bedrock Marketplace. And we have a great blog to walk developers through how you can actually do that. And I'm sharing the blog right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure we'll drop the link into the chat as well. Chat seems to be going out with different ideas and thoughts. Question that I personally have. Is this something that anybody of any level of sophistication, familiarity, or even in my instance, capability can go out and start deploying and start putting pen to paper to go and start solving these hard problems? Or is there a level of familiarity that you would recommend that folks have when getting started?
Well, I'd say you'd certainly want to have a basic understanding of the AWS environment and how to deploy on it, right? You know, and how to kind of move through the marketplace, how to take models from the marketplace and deploy them on your instances, right? That said, you know, we do try to make it as turnkey as we can to make it as easy as possible and as fast as possible for these models to get deployed, you know, to kind of accelerate time to value, right?
No, absolutely makes sense. AM.
Yeah, I was going to say another thing that's I think top of mind for a lot of people is in addition to agentic, people are thinking multimodal, right?
Absolutely,
AI as well.
Sure.
How does Nematron address multimodal use cases?
So it does have multimodal capabilities to be able to take in different types of inputs, different types of data. So, I mean, it does have that capability in its current form, and it's something we're always looking to enhance as we move forward, right? Whether that's video, images, audio, PDFs, what have you, as a way to kind of take all these things, for instance, and if you wanted to generate, say, like a report, sort of say, I'm going to give you all this content. I want you to generate for me, say, a 10-page white paper or ebook or what have you that takes this information and lays it out in a way that sort of essentially tells a story.
Okay, great. I love using a lot of models for this as well. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on how Nematron works with this, but generating synthetic data, right? Something that is very time-consuming in the past. You see a lot of people using Nematron for that as well.
As well, that's another, and again, the synthetic data, which can in turn then be used as a way to then train kind of the next model or to do a fine-tuning training run where you might even take, it would sort of be a bit of a circular process, but you know, you could generate that synthetic data and then feed that back in as a part of a fine-tuning to give the model essentially additional domain knowledge of a given domain area based on that data that you generated.
I love it. I love it. So what do you want to tell everybody out there watching right now to get started, right? What would you suggest as a good starting place for working with Nematron?
Well, a way to kind of dip your toes in the water is to go to build.nvidia.com and just try the model out. You know, you can basically run some queries as Rohil just demonstrated and just get a sense of, you know, how the model works, what its capabilities are. And then there's also ai.nvidia.com. Which is another developer resource website we have where you can also play with, I believe, it at the API level. And then, of course, you know, as you come over to the AWS environment, as Rohil pointed out, it's available in Bedrock, it's available from SageMaker, it's available in the marketplace. So it's readily available to start, you know, playing with in the AWS environment once you sort of had a chance to maybe familiarize yourself a little bit on, say, build.nvidia.com.
Very nice. Yeah, and Rohil also mentioned that wonderful blog post as well. You have any other resources, you know, reference applications, things like that? That's one of the areas that I'll go grab, you know, some code so I can get started faster.
Well, so generally speaking, I mean, developer.nvidia.com is a great resource where we're constantly posting new information, blogs, how-tos, you know, how to take these technologies and put them to work. Of course, we have lots of documentation, and then we also have a significant presence on GitHub. Where you can be grabbing a lot of the work that we do for the open source community and then put that to work as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, we also have the NVIDIA AI blueprints that you can deploy on AWS. And these blueprints are pre-configured reference architectures and workflows that are designed for specific use cases, such as customer service agents, deep research agents, data analytics agents. And they come pre-configured with all the models set up and all of the different ancillary services that you need so that you can go and customize it for your own use case.
That sounds like a fantastic starting point for anybody out there curious with going out and getting started. Gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time with us today. AM, thank you for hanging out with us today.
Even though I screamed at you?
Even though you scream at me more than my own kids do. And I know they're watching, so hey, kids. But enough about that. We want you to stay tuned with us. We got a lot more exciting content coming your way. I'm probably going to be here for another little while. Hopefully you are too. So stick with us and we'll be right back.
Infor is a company that has a lot of different security data sources based on the different environments that we're responsible for. We turned to AWS to solve the challenge of our diverse and complex cloud environment and trying to meet the needs of all of our product teams and leverage all the AWS services. We needed something that could expand with us and be as agile as for security as the rest of the cloud is. To solve our challenge, Infor kind of went in with an all in on the AWS security roadmap, starting with Security Lake as the foundation, combining that with Security Hub for centralizing the alerts and being able to respond, Guard Duty for more of the hidden side of cloud that you don't see with standard tools, and then starting to get into a lot of the serverless areas and leveraging Inspector and the cloud security posture has helped us greatly. Building on AWS for security specifically has actually helped us move as fast as the rest of our business wants to. Being able to align with our product growth and the speed they want to move, and moving security out of being a roadblock or a slowdown in the initiatives has allowed us to partner in such a better way.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us still at the AWS New York Summit live on the expo floor. And like I made mention, still here with you and begrudgingly still here with AM Grobelny. But he'll introduce himself in a second. My name is Adrian San Miguel. I'm a principal partner enterprise architect here at AWS, working with our technology partners and for the next little bit with AM as well.
You went for the Grobelny there, and you almost missed it. It was very, I heard it, but then you landed it.
That would require me to miss you, and I never did.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm AM Grobelny. It's great to see you all again. I'm a developer advocate here and one of your hosts for the day. But more importantly, we've got Christina down here at the end. Please give the people an introduction.
Yes, hi. I'm Christina Pieretti. I work for Moody's, and I'm there the General Manager for Digital Content and Innovation Unit, and most importantly for today, I'm leading our Gen AI efforts.
So Gen AI is definitely top of mind, and forgive me for coming into this absolutely cold, but in a positive way. Of one would not assume a Moody's to be tinkering with generative AI, and I'm sure that's not at all the case, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, so let me give you a little bit of background maybe. So, we are a rating agency. We're also a data analytics and workflow solutions providers, mostly for the financial services industry. As part of that, we've been developing quantitative models for years, and we had been working a lot with machine learning. But you're right, Gen AI was not necessarily in our radar, of course, because I don't think it was in anyone's radar until November 30, 2022. You know what happened then?
I do know what happened.
What happened?
AM, what happened that day?
No. You signed up to say it.
All right, you caught me red-handed. I don't know what happened today. Please tell us in the chat.
I knew he was trying to shift that.
Okay.
To me.
Damn, you got
when
me.
ChatGPT was announced and our worlds changed, and the way we look at our customers, at the work we do, our lives, everything changed, right? So when we dive in and we try to understand what's the impact for how we develop products, what's the impact for how we do work, and what's the impact in terms of the solutions we provide to our customers. And then fast forward, we launch our first commercial product on December of 2023. This has gone so far that I have issues remembering the dates. Can you remember?
Yeah. I don't know what day it is today, Christina. So
yeah, he's not kidding either.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Now you're talking back in the day when that was just still a single AI, right?
Yes.
But now you all at Moody's are working with multi-agent AI. Tell me about that.
Yes. Well, maybe I'll tell you about how excited we were with this single agent AI. And we thought, this was panacea. Like, oh my God, suddenly we're getting, we're talking about 40, 60% efficiencies in the customers just using chat. And then we meet the agents.
Oh.
Do you know what an agent is?
I do, and mine never books anything for me. I keep going out for these auditions, and my agent just...
Okay,
I get one joke. That's it. One agent joke. That's the whole
at
day.
least you didn't reply with it's like Men in Black or 007, which I've also gotten that type of responses.
That's
no,
dated
so
also.
Sorry, are you calling me old?
No, I'm saying the reference is old.
Okay. Okay, you get a pass there. Okay, so we started working with Gen AI agents, and the beauty of that is they can perform several tasks, and they can perform several tasks at the same time, which means they can replace a lot of workflows where you have multi-step processes which are defined and help and become a coworker, right? Okay. So since then, we've been working a lot with financial services across the globe. Trying to understand their processes and developing or co-developing with them a set of agents that can help them automate their processes, get more efficient, get more consistent, and sometimes even get additional insights because you have more power at your hands, right?
Awesome.
You can do more with less.
Now, Christina, I hate to do this to you because I want to talk about this, but I am also very visual. Can we take a look at what you all have been working with and building?
Yes, of course.
And keep talking about it too?
Yes. Can people see what I have in the screen, or it's only the three of us?
In just a minute.
It should be coming up any second.
It'll come up, but we can keep talking.
There it is.
Okay, great, it is. So this is AI Studio. This is Moody's platform for the development of agents. And how we do this, you're not going to see everything that is in the back end, but this is what we present to our customers to show the power of what's possible. Okay. And we usually do demos here, do proof of concepts. We iterate with them until we build the agentic solution that they want, and then voila, we implemented with them. And I think you were mentioning that you were a big fan of Boeing before we kicked off. So I'm going to use Boeing as an example.
Okay.
Okay, good. So what I'm going to run here is what we call the credit memo. When you are in a bank and you're about to extend, for example, a loan to a corporation, throughout the underwriting process, you do the evaluation, and then you have to write a credit memo, which basically describes the company, describes its competitors, describes the financial health of the company, and then that's the document that you take for approval of that loan. The same thing happens with an investment and with many other processes. So I'm going to click here, Boeing. I'm going to enter Boeing. And then in a minute, what you're going to see, after I hit run, and then when I hit run, I'm not going to be able to stop this thing.
Okay.
You're going to see two things. You're going to see the agents on the left-hand side, and I'll walk you through that, how they're doing work. And you're going to see on the right-hand side the progress of all the steps they're taking to complete a credit memo. So let's go into it, right? So I'm going to hit run.
Okay.
And I'm going to basically show you first the agents running.
Ooh.
So these are, all the tasks that they're completing, right? It's pretty impressive, as you can see. In green, you can see the tasks they've already completed.
Wow.
In blue is a task they're working on. And in orange is tasks that they haven't been able to complete, and they're basically telling me, I was not able to do this. The reason they were not able to do those is I was supposed to upload some documents, but because of the time constraint we have here, I didn't upload those documents, right? So they're basically telling me, these metrics are complete, these processes are complete, this process I'm working on. Right now, they're working on balance trend analysis and cash flow trend analysis. And then the orange is I was not able to find this. If we look at the other part, then you can see where it is. So you can see that it's completed 81% of the workflow, and you can see it's in step 34 now, getting owners, shareholders. Now, in the interest of time, we can leave them running. We can wait until it completes. It's almost done, but I also run this while I was waiting for us to get on air. So this is the final product, right? And you can see that it produced a report that is pretty lengthy. So, it has done everything in a matter. This process usually takes around 40 hours for an analyst to complete.
Okay.
And you can see it's completed in about 2-3 minutes.
I'll tell you, Christina, my neurons, all orange. Every single one of them orange. Every single one. Can you believe that? You've only known me a short time. The answer is yes.
It's okay.
You can.
You
How
can
are
say
your,
yes.
what colors are yours?
A little greenish, little yellowish, but definitely a lot of blue. A lot of stuff percolating.
So good. 40 hours down to how long did it take to run that? By the way?
Around 2 minutes.
2
I would
minutes.
say. Yeah.
That's
so it's pretty fast, and honestly, look at all the information that it compiled. Right, information. This has news. This has information from different sites. It went to the. It leveraged Moody's proprietary data. It leveraged third-party data. So it's a pretty comprehensive report. And yes, that's how we're working with some of our customers.
Right? Once an employee at Moody's gets this report, what's their next step?
So this is actually not used by the employees at Moody's, and we can talk a little bit about the employees at Moody's. These are services we provide. This is for customers, right? So we work with our customer. We understand what they want to put in the report. In this case, we can do this for many other use cases, and then we basically we assemble the agents for them. And then that's part of our business.
Clearly, I'm a big finance guy. When
yeah,
I
can see that. I can see that.
I'm glad I asked. Okay, so how
I can talk to you a little bit about how Moody's does, because we're big fans of, if we're going to sell this to our customers and we're going to preach to them that they have to adopt agents, then how we could not adopt the agents ourselves. So we started with this process very early on. Back in the day, we like to say that we had 14,000 innovators. It's a little bit dated now because we've had 14,000 innovators for more than, I would say, 2 years now. Okay. Basically, we enabled all type of Gen AI functionalities for our employees. We started with ChatGPT, to be candid. And then after we had get them comfortable using Gen AI, and we do get through an approval process to make sure that we're managing the risk. Then we started by the different specialties. So 60% of my team are developers. For example, we basically looked at specific tools that could help them develop, right, and could make them more efficient. So we basically. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of allergies, so not the best look to be using this tissue on air.
That's okay.
But
we're all human here.
Yeah, I am human. I'm not an agent.
Sorry, we're not all human here. I am an agent, but
he is an agent.
Yeah.
Okay, and good. An undercover agent, maybe. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Okay, so we basically then started with, we want, for example, the development teams to be using tools like GitHub and Cursor, and we want the sales and marketing team to make sure that they're leveraging Gen AI tools, and we want to make sure that we have assistance for our customer service team. Yep. So we basically are monitoring and making sure and tracking and encouraging to make sure that every Moody's employee leverages Gen AI tools according to, of course, their job profile. We do that because we want them to be more efficient. It helps with their work-life balance. And honestly, it helps with their culture a lot. Yeah. Because where do you want to be working? In a firm where, we're all for innovation and we're going to give you cool tools to be used on your day-to-day, or in the firm that say, no, we're not adopting those technologies. Yep. You have to go back and look at the encyclopedia if you want to search for something.
Yeah, I could see that being not only a detriment to the ongoing business plans and basically affecting inertia, or really trying to resist gravity of what everyone else is doing and trying to leverage the tools to make things better, faster, more intuitive, take less time. Focus those expensive developers, research analysts to be doing things that are more hands-on, beneficial to your customers and your internal teams and workflows, versus doing the manual minutia that somebody that's done a ton of research over the years. This takes time. This is hours, days, years in some instance of your life that you're getting back in 2 to 3 minutes.
That's exactly the case. And one of the examples we like to talk about is, okay, how do we empower sales professionals, for example? We can make sure that you're looking at, let's say you work at AWS and you want to pitch business. We can identify who should you be pitching businesses to, and we can prepare so you have a very successful meeting, which means you are able to do many more meetings in the same time. That's more commissions for you. That's more revenue for the company. That's hopefully more work-life balance for you as a salesperson. So it's a win-win.
We did have a question from chat, Christina.
Yes.
Hello, chat. How are you? Hi, it's me.
Sadly.
So I'm going to. I'm going to paraphrase this a bit. Were the flows predefined or defined after the request when we saw your demo? So, meaning, I think, I'm going to inject my own thoughts here. When you kicked off that workflow, were all of those predefined agents going to run, or does it selectively run agents?
Yeah. So again, and I would say it depends, which is
that's classic solution architecture.
Best answer.
There you go. It depends. In this case, this is predefined, right? We had selected what we wanted the agents to do, what information they wanted to look for, and in some cases, depending on what is the solution that we are the problem we're trying to address with the agents, we will predefine. In some other cases, it's going to be, and we call that kind of deterministic agents, right? Because we are predefining all the steps. In some other cases, it might not be predefined. So it depends on the nature of the problem, basically.
Fantastic. Use the best tool for the toolbox, or pull the tool out of the toolbox to solve the problem the best way possible.
Exactly.
Fantastic. AM, we got a production note, didn't we?
I have a card. I was given this card.
It's is handwritten.
Incredibly important card. You'll never believe this. We have a survey.
We do.
We have a survey that actually we asked people to tell us how we're doing up here, Christina, which is wild. I didn't ask for any feedback. I did. I asked for positive affirmation.
Are you asking
only.
me for
No,
feedback? Okay,
I'm actually asking the chat.
Good. Okay.
You can fill out this survey, and I'm told
you should fill out this survey.
The first 200 viewers with builder IDs get $20 of AWS credit. And a builder ID, it's free. You don't have one? Go sign up. It's free. All right. We've got to get out of here. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you. This was fun. It was great.
But we will be back with more. And I think it's me and Adrian again.
I think so.
Stick around.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.
With AWS Simulearn, many professionals are already growing their cloud expertise through immersive AI-powered simulations, translating business problems into technical solutions. And now you can start learning about generative AI for free with AWS Simulearn Generative AI Practitioner. Build your soft skills through generative AI-powered customer chats and technical skills through hands-on labs. This free learning plan gets you started with generative AI by guiding you through hands-on experience with Amazon's AI tools. Each business simulation blends theory with real scenarios, growing your confidence through practice with real-world generative AI solutions. Build in-demand generative AI skills today with AWS Simulearn Generative AI Practitioner at skillbuilder.aws.
back. It's me again, AM. You sick of me yet? I hope so. If not, you will be at the end of this. We're live here at the AWS Summit in wonderful New York City. I'm a developer advocate here and one of your hosts, joined by an incredible host, Adrian. Please, tell the people.
Thank you for the kind words.
Sure. Why
From
not?
a not so kind person, but I digress.
Costs me nothing.
It does cost you nothing. My name is Adrian San Miguel. I am a partner enterprise architect here at AWS, working with our tech partners. But we really want to kick this over to Jamie, who's on one of our coolest service teams, and would love to hear what you've been working on, Jamie.
Sounds good. Hi. Good morning, guys. I'm Jamie. I'm a product manager for Amazon EventBridge. Quick fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but 6 years ago, we actually launched Amazon EventBridge at New York Summit. So it's great to be back here on this milestone to share some of the new stuff we're working on.
Nice, and we got a real hot launch. Hot launch
Very hot
right
launch,
now,
yes.
right? Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about logging. And I think the conversation really starts with event-driven applications. They're great for lots of different things. They have some good benefits. They're scalable, they're resilient. They help dev teams move faster by decoupling. And I think for the end customer too, they're also they just feel more personable and more responsive. And so Amazon EventBridge has been helping developers build these kinds of applications now for, like I said, 6 years. But through that time, we have heard on more than a few occasions, I'll say, that debugging these applications can be tricky. Developers often ask the question like, did my event get onto EventBridge? Did it match a rule? Was it routed to the targets that I was interested in? If it wasn't, like what went wrong? And how, was there a permission problem, which is a common one? How do I troubleshoot that? So just a lot of challenges in doing that. And so I'm really excited here to talk to you that we are solving that problem now with EventBridge Enhanced Logging, which is really about the full, having full visibility of the complete life cycle of your event from the point it's published to the point it's delivered and everywhere in between.
So that brings a very interesting point up, and I think we may have talked about this yesterday a bit. As an old ops, admin, architect, engineer, and various points in between, I know you have similar experience. Logging is only as good as what you put into it, but you said something very specifically about the life cycle of the log and the life cycle of the alert. You're not guessing, is it the right machine? Is it the right volume that I'm monitoring? Do I have the right bits of the agent? Do I have an agent installed? Am I putting anything into the actual log output, or is it just say error?
Yeah.
And
I hit it with the axe, it split, I threw it in the fireplace.
Yep.
That's the life cycle of the log.
It's just kind of fire and forget. Maybe you do something, maybe you don't. But it sounds like you've taken a really hard crack at this and helped put something together that helps customers go figure out what exactly happened.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And in this, we do have a couple of really key points that I want to bring across. So one of them is having a variety of log levels. So when you're in your dev environment and you're working on your new application, you really want to understand the detail completely. And so we have trace level logging that shows you like soup to nuts, start to finish, everything that's going on. Then when you move that application into a production workload, maybe you're interested in just sort of what the key milestones are as it moves through, or maybe you're just interested in the errors themselves. And so you have that flexibility to decide how much logging you want. Great for cost control, great to reduce the noise. And then also where your logs are going to, and how you want to actually consume those logs. So we support 3 different destinations. One of them is CloudWatch Logs, so you kind of like real easy, quick into operational insights and troubleshooting. We can offload to S3 for long-term storage and compliance-related reasons. Also, good cost controls there. And then, of course, to Firehose. So if you want to use a whole variety of purpose-built analysis tools from AWS and other third parties, you've got that ability as well.
Jamie, I'm looking at a gorgeous, just stunning architecture diagram on your screen right now. Our audience can't see it yet. I don't want to break your flow, but I'm hoping we can pull that up and talk about it. Because I was going to ask you earlier, before we jumped into the new vended logging, I wanted to know, if we could take a step back, thinking back to that launch, right? Where does EventBridge sit in an event-driven application architecture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, backbone, right?
Yeah, it's pretty foundational. It's one of the first things you want to select when you're thinking about going in an event-driven approach. You really need to know what is that platform, what is that backbone that you're going to hang all of your microservices and subcomponents off of.
Okay, so that's your event bus that's going to be powering all of the events that then get fanned out to various different compute capacity, Lambda, ECS, whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And to put this problem into perspective, right? Not only are you having distributed logs because you're dealing with microservices, that piece of EventBridge itself is something that you would want logs about as well. Like you mentioned in the beginning, am I getting these events even through EventBridge, right? Because each step of the process of event-driven application is potentially a step for failure that you need to investigate. Is that what you all were thinking?
That's exactly right. And EventBridge is kind of unique in our push-based approach to this.
Okay.
So that really makes it easier for developers to not have to deal with all of like polling infrastructure and unhappy path. We handle those retries, all that kind of thing. But because of that attribute of it, which is great for all those reasons, it can be more difficult to understand what that full flow of the event lifecycle looks like.
Very nice. So, if you had to summarize, I'd say like why it's important to turn on logging for EventBridge. What are the common things that people are looking for in these logs now?
Yeah, well, I mean, from the first stages of development, just understanding like, did this event get published, and rules. And rules are really flexible ways of defining the pattern. Yeah, did I get a match?
Right?
And exactly. So knowing whether I didn't get a match, did I get a match, and then from that match, which of the targets that I had configured were invoked. All those details are super important when you're at that phase.
So
never had a match, by the way.
I can tell. You match with me, and that's kind of all that matters right now, up here anyway. But I digress. Jamie, would love to see a demo of what it is, how we can better educate ourselves and continue to build these flows, because that's something that many of us just never think about. Like, how do you log the logger? And are you actually getting the whole bit of the chain? So would love to see this put into practice.
Watchmen reference there?
Yes, it is.
All right. Who logs the loggers?
Where is it? Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Beautiful.
sounds good. Let's jump in. Like anything, it's better seen in action. So set a little context here. This is a super basic, event-driven order management system.
Okay.
Of course, we've got the event bus. That's the foundational thing that we were talking about. We've got a couple of components here, microservices backed by Lambda functions. So one of them is for order handling, another for inventory service. And then, for this example too, we also have a fictitious last mile delivery service as part of our order company here, and we have connected to that with an API destination. Now, each of those pieces are all connected with a rule pattern, and I was going to jump ahead and show you what some of the events that we're going to be dealing with and what the rules look like in this case.
One of my orders, I can tell, because it's premium.
It's premium, right?
Yeah, you are premium.
So we've got a rule pattern, just to sort of demonstrate that flexibility that EventBridge rule patterns do give you. You can go really deep into the payload of the event and be really specific about the things you're interested in, so that we can have a premium order subcomponent on this. We have as I said, the delivery initiated when all of this order has gone through, and we want to actually now ship it out to the end customer. And also, just to show you that example of where we don't have a rule matching, there is an order canceled event that we'll send that doesn't match anything because we haven't wired it up yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's jump in.
Yeah, please.
So let's get rid of that and go right to, so my environment here. So like most developers, you would have a developer environment and a production environment. And so we're going to focus on the development environment first. In here, you can see now we've got a new tab called Logs.
Development environment.
I was about to say, you don't just do this in prod.
Production?
Cowboy coding?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Sorry.
So we've got a new tab in here called Logs, and when I go to that now, I can see that I have trace level logging on and that I have log execution data. Okay. Log execution data is the full event payload, but because I'm in my dev environment and I'm probably using fictitious data, I know that that's safe, and I'm not too worried about where that's actually being logged.
Okay.
Just to see what it looks like if I'm actually doing this on a new event bus or modifying it, I can see I've got my 3 different destinations available, my variety of log levels, and whether or not I want to include this execution data.
I love the Firehose stream too, because that generally enables shipping these logs out to other partner logging solutions.
That's right. Yeah, third-party tools, our own tools. Yeah, very flexible there.
Yep.
Okay, so let's set an event. So let me get here to my predefined commands, if I can get a mouse to work.
There we go.
Okay, and a terminal. Okay, and I've got an event successfully sent. So I'm going to take this ID here and copy it if I can.
This is a test of your
yes, no kidding.
skills
Okay,
right
here we go. Then I'll jump into the logs here, refresh, and see that I now have a fresh log stream.
Okay.
This is probably just the events I'm interested in, but just for the sake of showing this, we'll put the event.
Yeah, I was
in
going to say
here.
those quotes might get you.
There you go. So same list here. Now, if I expand all this, so like I said, or like I was showing, we're on trace level debugging here, just so that everybody can see. In our docs, we'll show you the full life cycle that we have available here. So green is trace level. That's everything, including info and error. Info is in blue, and error is in red. And I'll show you what some of these logs actually look like. So here's the very first one. So event receipt. So we've got, here's the message type. We know that it came from this event bus name. We have the metadata associated with the source and detail type, super popular things to understand. And because we have full payloads on here, we can see exactly what this event looked like. So then we get the info level event. So this is a confirmation that the event was ingested. We've got it. EventBridge has got it. And now we can see that the rule matching is starting. So at trace level, you can actually see, okay, this is now, we are beginning to evaluate this. And in this case, this will match. And so here you can see we've got one rule matched, and that matches on a update inventory rule. And
let me ask Jamie,
yeah.
so if we had missed on that match, we just wouldn't have this record then,
you
right?
wouldn't have this, you would have a different record, which I can show you after, which is
nice.
called No
Okay.
Rules Matched.
So it's not
Yeah.
it's not the absence of a record. You still will get a record.
You still, yeah. If there's
Very
no
nice.
match, yeah,
Ooh, okay.
exactly.
That's good.
So that's very, very useful for.
That
It's a
is.
very common thing. Like event patterns are flexible, but you can get yourself into the details and not quite form them correctly to get the message that you want.
Yes.
Yep. And I just dropped it in chat. Also, chat, if you're using EventBridge today, let us know how you're using it. If not, that's also an equally good question. Why aren't you using it? Especially with this new functionality. It doesn't have to be ultra precise. Even the absence of a match means that there's still something detected that may be potentially not a miss.
I think you need to hit that with more of an accusing
A
tone.
little bit more.
Why
of an
aren't you using it?
You should.
Yes, you should. You're hired.
All right, there we go.
Okay. So I'll keep moving through this. So next step in that. So we know we have a rule that's matched. We want to see this invoke the targets that I had defined for it. And here we got invocation start. So again, this is an info level. So you know that this is about to happen. We can see at a trace level that even when this was attempted.
Yep.
And then we have a success.
Success.
Look at that. So this triggered this Lambda function. Our update inventory, we have the full response from Lambda showing you that it was received, the status code, all these details are in there.
The first successful thing I've ever been a part of. It's amazing. This feels great. I get why people like success.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, you're just on a continuous villain arc. You have to have line at least once. I'm glad we were able to do that for you today live with
Thank you for bringing
EventBridge.
Absolutely.
JB,
Success is addictive.
Put that in your forte. You helped him succeed at least once.
Okay, and finally, so here's the last one on this, and even not only do you have all this log data, but you can even see the performance end to end, how long it took that event to get from one place to the other. So you've got like just complete visibility of what's happening, how it's occurring, and in this case, everything works successfully.
So I've got to ask a really bit of a curveball question about that. Is it possible to set up some sort of parameter to let you know if that latency, for example, in this query, looks like it was 48 milliseconds. If you wanted to explicitly look for highly latent bridge logging events to come through, is that something that somebody would maybe be able to go out and do?
Yeah, well, we actually also support a significant amount of CloudWatch metrics as well. So you can actually set up alarms and observe that latency and changes in that latency.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so let's take a look maybe at a no match, just so that we see what that looks like.
For completion, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so we'll go back to my terminal here, send this event, try to copy it again, and it's working.
Here we go. Here we go. True test.
Okay, so now
no quotes.
This one. So just actually, maybe just quick before I show you this. So this one moved on to my dev environment.
Okay.
Now, in my dev environment, I have a slightly different, my production environment. So my logs are now configured for info level, and I've turned log execution data off because I don't want any sensitive data showing up anywhere it shouldn't be. Okay. So I've set that event. Now if I go and look at my log patterns here, I now have just 2 entries. So I can see at info level that EventBridge did successfully ingest that event. But here I can see no standard rules matched.
Oh, no match.
And that's it. That event's done. So now you know that.
Yeah, I mean, this really, my opinion at least, because I may have asked this question, staring at my monitor, maybe angrily. I'm going to be real. What happened to my event?
Right.
Yeah.
Where is it, Adrian? I'd call my computer Adrian as well. It's different. Different Adrian, though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, yeah, to me, Jamie, this helps answer that question.
I think so. This is a question that I have received many a times.
Have you?
Yeah, many times.
Okay.
And so now we can
not
answer
from
this.
me. I didn't send it in.
Now you are empowered to answer this question yourself with this logging feature.
I love it. I love it.
There we go.
Okay. So,
I have one more thing maybe I would show you.
Yeah. I was going to ask,
Okay.
in addition to that question, what are you seeing customers kind of look at and say, oh, I'm struggling with this? I mean, my guess is going to be one of them, IAM permissions.
That's absolutely correct. That is a well-pointed question. Permission issues. Especially so. You can see the event is published. Maybe you can see a rules match, but that your target that you configured wasn't invoked. Why did that happen? I don't know. But permissions is a really common problem.
Do you have any others off the top of your head?
API destinations is another one that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
You're dealing now with capabilities outside of the AWS boundary. You don't know what's going on that web server somewhere on the internet, and now you get some information that will help you understand what's going on there.
But at least with the vended logs now, too, you can verify, hey, EventBridge is not the issue here. Right?
That's right.
It's a different issue downstream. I need to investigate. I can move on, and I know my event's going where it's supposed to go.
Because when you're investigating these things, seconds really do matter. We do have the opportunity to isolate something out and make sure that it's not the thing before you go spend time needlessly on it. And that in and of itself is a very good thing.
That's right. Yeah. Some of these issues could have taken hours to debug previously, and now you're looking at like minutes.
Okay. So you said one more thing too.
Yeah. So I thought we would just show you one of those error cases where we send something that doesn't work. So let me go just really quickly here.
And while you do that, we got a question in from YouTube from Roberto Chiroy, it looks like. Is using EventBridge as a bus for tracking distributed service events, or is it mainly recommended just for event sourcing?
Is it for just event sourcing? So I think there's a lot of connotation in some of those definitions around eventing. We see EventBridge as an event broker for building event-driven, distributed, asynchronous applications. Is really what it's about.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so let me see here. 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do something nefarious to this.
Nefarious. We like nefarious.
Okay. And I'm just going to change this. Okay. So I'm going to change the role that this rule was configured to one that I just know is wrong. And let's send an event and see if we can debug this problem. So here.
All right. Oh, there we go. Mouse is mousing again.
Mouse is mousing.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Here, how about we do keyboards? Look at this.
Yeah. Old faithful. Unix will never die, I promise.
Okay, so now we've got this. We'll copy it. We'll go take a look at our.
Just like Wolverine. Never die. Just regenerate.
Well, history is doomed to be repeated.
Okay, and as we look down here, our first evidence that something has gone wrong here.
All right.
So we
I'm
see.
familiar with error. Let me
with
tell you
errors.
that, Jamie.
This is the one. And
I
now,
am error.
And when you look at the error message, you can now see that there was a permissions error. Access was denied. Now you can go and have a real solid breadcrumb to go and fix that permissions and reconfigure that Lambda and get your event flow working again.
I love it. We are unfortunately out of time, though. Adrian, you have a card to read.
I do have a card to read. Folks, you're going to want to stay tuned. The keynote is with Swami Subramanian, and it's coming up here shortly. You don't want to miss it. I certainly won't be missing it. But before that, Jamie, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us today. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Anything you'd like to say in closing? The last bit of seconds.
Like I said, this is a great anniversary year for EventBridge, and we've got lots of great things still coming, and it's been fun. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.